We've got ourselves another first look at the Jotun Armor Set that will be available to you in the Dawn of Ragnarok DLC, which you'll be able to get stuck into on March the 10th. But I gotta say, this certainly is a very animalistic looking armor set with some notable stats to break down, as well as two new weapons, a dagger called Fenrir's Incisor and a one-handed axe called the Jotnar Cleaver, which is made of what looks like to be obsidian. And this is all thanks to Peder and Ibsarp, who have found these items in the game files for us to have a closer look at, and that means it is subject to change. But again, looking like a solid result here from the dynamic duo. But let's take a gander at this Jotun armor set, and it's described as being crudely assembled by armor from the fallen. So essentially, by equipping this set, we become a Jotun serial killer collector. And as I say that out loud, I realise how bad that joke was. I do apologise. It has been a very long week, but stats, and while some of you may think they're as bad as my jokes, and I'm not going to say that you're right, but I think you may be close in your assumption, but we can temporarily increase our armor by plus 30 when we use an ability which has a 15-second duration, which is severely average at best, as well as increasing our melee resistance by plus 20 if we fully equip the armor set. Now, interestingly, this armor set mentions that the only way we can obtain it isn't by finding certain armor pieces in certain armor locations, as mentioned in the Dwarven and Fire Giant armor set descriptions in the infantry panel. And if you haven't seen those videos yet, I will pop them at the end of this one for you. But rather, we can only pick up this Jotun armor set by defeating all of Suttungr's Outriders. Now, Peder has also got us covered again because he's found the codex entry for the Outriders, and they're described as being made up of elite Jotun warriors that initially served Suttungr, who's king of the Jotnar, but have then since gone on to serve another being altogether. So we've got a bit of ambiguity here, and I've got a feeling that these are going to be hidden boss fights around Svartalfheim, where as a reward we'll be able to claim one piece of this Jotun armor set until we get 5 out of 5. Now, as for its appearance, I am a fan. It's a patchwork of different colours and materials all smashed together, and I think the helm is quite a standout feature for me here. I think it is the kind of helmet which could be fused together in some sort of transmog mashup alongside other armor pieces, and I think it wouldn't look too out of place. I also can't see any reskins going on here, but you know the drill. If you can, let us all know down below in the comments, and while you're actually down there, and only if you wouldn't mind, a very swift like on the video really does help me out, and it is a great way to show your support for this type of content, especially if you find it enjoyable. So thank you very much. Now let's take a look at this Jotnar Cleaver. It's a one-handed axe that's described as being one of Jotunheim's finest weapons, which has only been awarded to high-ranking warriors, and I really think this axe is superb. It looks like an obsidian blade with finely crafted stencil markings that lead back to a wooden handle that seems to have been secured with bloody bandages. It is an absolute mess of an axe, contrasting wildly, and perhaps I've seen too many gold-plated weapons over the last year, and for that reason alone, I think it is a great-looking one-handed axe. And the stats on it aren't too shabby either. In fact, really decent in my opinion, as you have a 50% chance to refill an adrenaline slot when you manage to pull off a critical hit. It's also got a 15-second cooldown, which I think is fairly reasonable, and it's clear that this weapon is to be used in tandem with the Jotun armor set. Of course, its namesake does make that perhaps obvious, being a Jotnar Cleaver, but the armor set bonus gives you an increase in armor when you activate abilities, and this axe complements that mechanic by generously providing you with additional adrenaline slots pending your critical chance allocation in your current armor set build. All in all, I think it's a solid axe and one to consider going forward if you do run with them, in my opinion. Now let's talk about Fenrir's Incisor, and it's a new dagger described as being crudely assembled from a giant tooth. It doesn't say it was Fenrir's, but I'm pretty sure we're bang on the money when we say that it is. And I also know that Corey and Austin will be happy about this because they're right. It has been a while since we've seen a new dagger released, but let's evaluate the stats, and you pick up a stamina cost reduction of 20% when you use this dagger to generate special attacks, which, if you didn't know, that's essentially you holding down the parry button to smash out a flurry of locked in rapid attacks. And I don't think that's fantastic, but if this suits your playstyle, it may be one for you. Visually though, it's everything a wolf's fang that's been crafted into a dagger should look like, in my opinion. It's very scruffy and very deadly, and all in all, a good looking shank. But what also is deadly is the Odin All-Father armor set, which Ubisoft have been pushing out quite a lot recently, and Peder and Ibsarp have of course been hard at work for us again, and they've found it for us. So I'm going to be walking you through what that's all about very soon, so if that does interest you, make sure you click the notification bell to be the first to know when that video will be dropping. Anyway, big thanks to Peder and Ibsarp again for bringing us this first look, and I will catch you in the Odin armor set video very soon if it's not already on your screen right now. But cheers for stopping by, and as usual, coffee's on me.